I didn't know rest was a skill. I woke up to the sound of my alarm. 6:0 a.m., like always. But I didn't move. Not because I was tired, but because, for a moment, I couldn't remember why I should. The ceiling fan spun above me. My phone buzzed beside me. Emails from London. A Slack ping from Singapore. My body was ready to move, but my mind had quietly refused. I just lay there. Not sick, not sleepy, just emptied out. The world outside was rushing, but inside, I was frozen. I'd built this life on ambition. I was the woman who always replied first, who answered calls at 2 a.m., who never missed a deadline, even during flu or heartbreak. People called me unstoppable. I called it discipline. But now, I couldn't lift a finger. I stared at the wall, then at the little post-it notes I'd stuck there. Push harder. Make it happen. You'll rest after this quarter. Suddenly, they all felt ridiculous. Sad, even. I wasn't battling fatigue. I was battling meaning. What's the point of moving if you're no longer sure where you're going? I had become known for my speed, my sharpness, my drive. But I didn't feel known to myself anymore, because success had made me seen. But I think rest-real, intentional, guilt-free rest had the power to make me whole. And in that moment, staring at nothing, I realized maybe I didn't just need rest. Maybe I needed to learn how to rest. My days had become loops. Smooth, repeatable, numbing loops. Wake. Open email before brushing my teeth. Respond to London by 6:30. Quick shower, headset on, camera off. One Zoom blends into the next. Asia in the morning, Europe by midday, and the US deep into the night. I skip breakfast. Always have. Lunch usually happens around 4 p.m., if it happens at all. Dinner is whatever I can reach from my laptop with one hand. Protein bars, plantain chips, leftovers eaten cold. Sleep is not rest. I sleep with my phone under my pillow like a lifeline ready to buzz, ready to serve. My apartment's always quiet, but never peaceful. The only sound I really hear anymore is keyboard clicks and the occasional sigh that escapes my mouth before I even notice I'm tired. I don't remember when I last took a full day off. Even weekends became a mirage. I'll rest Saturday, I'd say. But Saturday became just a few emails, then quick prep for Monday, then might as well knock this out now. I call that efficiency. My body calls it something else. Friends say I'm killing it, that I'm an inspiration. You're always on point, Mira. They mean well, but it makes me feel worse, because if I'm inspiring them while quietly breaking down, what kind of example is that? Somewhere along the way, I stopped living and started functioning. My apartment looks clean because I have no energy to create a mess. My fridge is empty because I don't have time to shop. My smile is polite, my energy borrowed, my battery blinking red. I used to think success would feel like gold, but this feels like grey. Faded, blurry, lifeless, and worst of all, I kept telling myself this was normal. That evening, I opened LinkedIn. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, just scrolling, just avoiding the silence, until one post caught my eye-bold black text on a pale blue background. Burnout is becoming the new pandemic. It wasn't clickbait, it was a Harvard Business Review headline. Below it, a woman's story from South Korea. She'd collapsed on the subway after working 70-hour weeks. Her company gave her a trophy the month before. Excellence in execution. She ended up in hospital with exhaustion-induced heart issues. She was 32. Another post below, an NHS nurse in the UK resigning after 11 years. Her caption read, "I love the job, I just can't survive it." Thousands of comments from nurses in Canada, India, Kenya, all saying the same thing, same here. I scrolled further. A tech founder in Lagos, just 29, posted a photo of his blood pressure monitor. 168, 110. He joked in the caption, "Still got one more pitch today though." People laughed in the comments. I didn't. I sat there, screen glowing in my lap, and realized something. This wasn't just my problem, this was everyone's problem. From Tokyo to Toronto, from Cape Town to Copenhagen. People were breaking down quietly, publicly, professionally under the pressure to keep going. We're moving faster, working longer, sleeping less, performing more. And the scariest part? We celebrate it. We applaud exhaustion if it comes with results. We praise people who never stop, even when the cost is their mind or their life. I closed the app, stared at the wall. And for the first time in a long time, I let the truth settle in my chest. The world is spinning faster, but our bodies haven't evolved to keep up. Mine definitely hadn't. And no matter how global this burnout was becoming, I was the only one who could save me from mine. The signs didn't arrive like thunder. They crept in like whispers. It started during a Monday morning client meeting. I was presenting a pitch I'd rehearsed a dozen times, slides I'd designed myself, and halfway through, I blanked. Not dramatically, just blank. I looked at the word on the screen conversion and it suddenly meant nothing. 5 people were watching me, waiting, and I had no idea what I was supposed to say next. I smiled through it, mumbled something about user flow, and moved on. But inside, I panicked. That had never happened before. The next day, I noticed something new. My right hand started trembling while typing. Not constantly, just enough to make the keys feel unfamiliar. I shook it off literally. Must be too much caffeine, or maybe low blood sugar. I kept going, but the third sign wouldn't let me hide. Wednesday, 6:45 p.m. I stepped into an elevator after another 12-hour workday, alone. No noise, no pressure. But halfway up to my floor, something snapped inside me. My chest tightened. My breathing turned shallow. My heart pounded so loudly it drowned out the soft hum of the elevator motor. I couldn't speak, couldn't cry, couldn't even think. Just frozen between floors, between breakdown and denial. When the elevator doors opened, I walked out like nothing had happened. I didn't tell anyone. Not a friend, not a doctor, not even myself really. I told myself, everyone's tired. It's just stress. I'll be fine after the weekend. But I wasn't fine. I was slipping mentally, physically, emotionally. And the worst part? I still wore my exhaustion like a badge. Still smiled in meetings. Still answered emails in bed. Because in my world, resting looked like failure. And if I admitted how broken I felt, what would that say about everything I'd built? So I pushed the fear down, just like always. Not realizing that ignoring the warning signs wouldn't make them go away, it would only make the crash harder when it finally came. My birthday fell on a Thursday. I didn't make any plans. No dinner, no cake, no calls. When people asked, I said, "It's a weekday. I'll celebrate later." But truthfully, I didn't feel like I had anything to celebrate. The plan was simple: catch up on work. The irony, by 8 p.m., I'd made a cup of tea, dimmed the lights, and opened my laptop. There were emails to reply to, slide decks to clean up, reports that were already a day overdue. I sat there, and I stared. 3 hours. No exaggeration, 3 full hours of staring at the screen. No typing, no scrolling, just frozen, my fingers hovering over the keys like they'd forgotten what to do. The tea went cold. The room got darker, but I didn't move. At 7 p.m, I finally shut the laptop. No dramatic slam, no outburst. Just a slow, quiet, close-like closing a chapter I didn't want to keep reading. I stood up, walked to the mirror above my dresser, and looked at myself. Not the businesswoman, not the team lead, not the gets things done professional everyone trusted, just me. Hair unwashed, eyes tired, shoulders slumped. I touched the mirror gently, as if trying to feel who I used to be on the other side of it. Then I said it out loud, not whispered, not broken, just honest. I don't want to be this woman anymore. I didn't mean weak, I didn't mean ungrateful. I meant the woman who didn't know how to stop, the one who believed rest had to be earned. That stillness was shameful. That peace was for other people. I meant the woman who was burning down quietly and calling it drive. And that was the first time I admitted it, not to a therapist, not to a friend, but to myself. I wasn't just tired, I was finished. And if I didn't change something soon, I wouldn't just lose my energy, I'd lose myself. I didn't disappear to Bali, didn't book a wellness retreat, didn't take a sabbatical. I couldn't afford to stop working completely, but I could start repairing slowly. It began with 5 minutes of silence in the morning. No phone, no emails, no agenda. Just me, sitting at the edge of my bed, breathing. Some mornings I didn't even breathe deeply. I just existed. That alone felt like rebellion. Next, I reclaimed lunch. Not a gourmet meal, just 20 minutes with no screens. I ate real food, sometimes just rice and stew, or fruit on a plate, but I looked at it. I chewed. I noticed it. I gave it a moment of respect. Then came the hardest part, saying no. I turned down late-night meetings. I paused urgent tasks if I was already stretched. And the guilt? It came loud and fast, but I let it pass like a storm I didn't owe shelter to. The most radical thing I did? I lay down in the middle of the day. Not for sleep, just to rest. Sometimes it was 5 minutes, other times 20. No music, no phone, just ceiling and stillness. At first, it felt awkward, wasteful, indulgent. But slowly, I began to feel something I hadn't in years: wholeness. I still had deadlines, still had stress, still had days that drained me. But I stopped waking up in fear, stopped needing caffeine to feel alive, stopped crashing at night like a machine that ran out of battery. Rest didn't fix me overnight, but it finally stopped breaking me. And that was enough to begin again this time, on my terms. Every Sunday evening now, I play myself a voice memo. It's not long. Just one sentence I recorded on a quiet walk after a tech-free afternoon. Stillness is not the absence of ambition. It's the soil it grows in. I remind myself, I'm not less driven because I rest. I'm more intentional because I do. I stopped multitasking healing with hustling. I stopped trying to fix my burnout like it was another KPI. Healing wasn't a strategy, it was a surrender. Not a weakness or wisdom. Now, I approach rest the way I once approached productivity: deliberate, measured, with respect. And that's when it really started to work. I used to think peace was something you stumbled upon like a lucky weekend or a quiet night. Now, I know better. I schedule rest like a meeting. Because peace deserves a time slot too. I still work, I still dream, I still build, but I also breathe. I pause, I log off, and I don't apologize for it. Because this time, I'm building a life I don't need to recover from. Moral lesson: rest isn't optional. It's a life skill, and if you don't learn it, your body will teach you the hard way. Chill call to action. Follow for more stories that put your health before your hustle. Subscribe if you've ever worked so hard you forgot who you were.